Okay, so we did expanding, now we're going to do condensing. So we're going to use the rules that we used for expanding, which were, if it's being divided, you subtract. If it's being multiplied, you add. If it has an exponent, it gets moved out front. We're going to use those same rules, except we're going to use them backwards. Because when we are condensing, we're going from big to small. When we were expanding, we went from small to big. So let's look at this first one. The first thing you need to remember is the word condense means to make smaller. All right, so we have a number in front. So let's make a note right here that says a number in front. When expanding, was an exponent. So that's our first thing that we need to remember. So that means that when we are condensing, it's going to go back to an exponent. Then we also are subtracting. So I'm going to give you a second to think. Why did we subtract? What operation were we performing? When we would expand, we would make it subtract. Well, it would be dividing. Okay? So the biggest thing that you need to remember on this is everything that's in front of the subtraction sign goes on top. Everything after the subtraction sign goes on bottom. Okay? So when I do that, I have the log. There's no base there, so that is a common log, and it's the base of 10. And we know we're dividing. Okay? Now, everything on top, we have this goes back to the exponent for x, and that's all that's on top, so x to the 8th. All right, so we're done with the top. Now we need to look at the bottom. We have a number that needs to be moved back as an exponent, so it is y to the 4th, and then that will be our answer. All right, let's look at the next one. So we have that number out front again, so that means it's going to end up being our exponent. But now we are adding. So what operation did we make it add when we expanded? And that is multiplication. So we know we're going to multiply those. So we have log base of 4. We only write that one time. Now the first thing that we have is x. So log base 4 of x. And it's being multiplied to y, which has an exponent of 2. And that's our answer. All right, the next one. All right, so again, we're adding. So that means we're going to multiply. And the more you work with this, the more you will be able to memorize those operations. But then we have some exponents going on here because we have numbers out front. So they need to be moved to the back. Okay? So again, we have a log, and there's no base, so we know it's a common log with a log base of 10. We don't have to put the 10 there, but we know it's there. All right, so log base 10 of x, and it has an exponent of 8, and then times y to the 1/2. And that's our answer. Now, one thing that I want to note to you, if you remember this, you can do it. But if you recall the first unit, you need to be able to recognize these. Anytime we have a fraction as an exponent, it becomes the root sign. Remember, the number on top is on the inside, and then the number on the bottom is the outside. So a fraction means that we have a root sign. All right? So there's another way to write this. We could write it as the log base 10 of x to the 8th, because that's not going to change. But that's going to become a square root because the 2's on the bottom. So draw the root sign and put y on the inside, and it's raised to the first power. So we could write it one way or the other. Just recognize that that fraction is going to be a root. Okay? All right, we have two more. So we've got a couple things going on this one. This means we're going to multiply because we're adding. This means we're going to subtract. Or, sorry, we're going to divide because we're subtracting. All right? We have numbers that need to be moved to the back. All right, and this is the one that you really need to be paying attention to. Everything before the subtraction sign goes on top. So these two right here are going to be multiplied together on top of your fraction. Everything after will be on the bottom. All right, and it's a natural log, so we can leave it as a natural log. So we'll put the L in. Okay, and we know it's going to be division. All right, so the first thing that we're dealing with on top is the ln of x. So we put x there. The next one that we have is y, and it has an exponent of 3. Now, that takes care of the top. Now we have to take care of the bottom. And all that is on the bottom is a 4, but it is raised to the second power. So we would put the 2 there. Now you can go ahead and simplify that out. So ln of xy cubed, and then 4 squared is 16. All right. And then our last one, a couple things going on again. We've got to multiply. We've got to divide. And we've got to multiply. So remember, everything in front of that subtraction sign is on top. Everything after that subtraction sign is on the bottom. Okay? We also have exponents because there's numbers out front. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and look. We've got an LN for all of it. So take that LN out. We know it's division. All right, the first thing that we're dealing with is the ln of x. So x goes on top. And then we have y. It's going to multiply to y, and it's going to be squared. That's everything on top. Now we have the bottom. In our first one, it's going to be 4 squared, and it is being multiplied by 8. So we can go ahead. We got everything taken care of. We've got this one taken care of. This one is taken care of. This one's taken care of, and this one's taken care of. Let's go ahead and simplify it. So the ln, we can't simplify xy squared, but 4 squared is 16, and then 16 times 8 is equal to 128. And we have got it simplified. Okay, now I want you to take, and you need to watch this as many times as you need to get your notes, to get more understanding of it. And then practice it, and then we will move on.